day. On our headline today, Nigerians are more confident with Tinubu, says APC spokesman. Amnesty condemns Kogi mass adoption, urges Tinubu to act. We'll be right back after this break. Stay with us. On set with me are two political analysts, Okoro Vincent and Emerald Nufi. It's a pleasure to have you join us, Emerald.
Thank you so much for having me, Cassie. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. And to you, Vincent, it's a pleasure to have you join us on the show.
Of course, I will always have it as a honor to be with you in the studio as far looking at the many issues in our public space in Nigeria is concerned, where we are here as always to see how we can provide viable solution answers to many questions that is bothering our people out there. So I hope it's going to be a nice time with you, Cassie.
All right, it's always an honor to have you on our show. So APC and Publicity Secretary Felix Moka, he stated that comparing Nigeria in 2023 to today is like comparing night and day. Looking at the food inflation, the cost of petrol, and basic living standards, many Nigerians feel the country has moved into a deeper economic night. From your prospect as an analyst, how do you marry this to night and day? When you have to debunk that particular statement from the publicity secretary.
Okay, Mr. Felix Moka, right? The publicity secretary of the All Progressive Congress. So when I looked at when I heard that headline, I was waiting to know the premise for which the person is coming from in terms of his affiliation. Is it an expert? Let's say in the banking sector, in the finance sector. Now, just for me to hear that is the publicity secretary of the All Progressive Congress. What does that automatically tells me? That tells me that he has affinity with the present ruling government in Nigeria. Because you are looking at the night and day. He is comparing 2023, where we are coming from, to where we are presently in 2026. Trying to make us understand that in 2023 we are in darkness, and then the current leadership in Nigeria has taken us from that darkness to light. That automatically means that it's telling us that if Nigerians were suffering in 2023, right now, the sufferness has ended and Nigerians are now enjoying. What it's trying to tell us is that if in 2023, Nigerians there are Nigerians in 2023 that were eating what we normally say in our street as 010. That is, you don't eat in the morning, you eat in the afternoon, you don't eat in the evening. Or 101, that you eat in the morning, you don't eat in the afternoon, you don't eat in the evening. But right now, Nigerians are not eating around the clock. What he's trying to tell us is that we were saying that a lot of Nigerians, especially in the north, are unable to go to their farms in 2023, but now they can comfortably go to their farms. What he's trying to tell us is that if we were buying fuel 200 naira, 100 naira per liter in 2023, right now we are now buying fuel for 50 naira. Now let me stop there in terms of calling the comparison. Now let's go to reality or ground. How much was fuel in 2023 and how much is fuel now? With the incidence of insecurity, our people, our school children being kidnapped and taken away. Remember that in 2023, or before 2023, before 2023, we have a lot of incidents of kidnapping. when you hear of kidnapping brought to this time, you'll be mentioning Borno, you'll be mentioning Zamfara, you'll be mentioning Kebbi. But today, insecurity is creeping gradually from across the north to the middle belt, and we are even hearing that just Kogi State here, Kwara State, Anambra, incidence of insecurity is now on the increase. Now, we are talking about fuel. In 2023, fuel price was around 300 naira, and today, we have bought fuel in this administration for over 1,500. So, when you look at now, you are talking about going back to insecurity again. Just a fortnight ago, which we have seen money, kids, innocent children, were adopted across the in Oyo State, and they are still in the forest as we speak. Mm-hmm. Children that went to school to learn, our future leaders in this. Now you can see, looking at these children that are in the forest right now, we can even say that this young man is just insensitive, because you cannot have those children in the forest, and then you want to tell the mothers and fathers, the parents of those children, that Nigerians have actually moved from darkness to light. That, to me, that's height of insensitivity.
All right, thank you so much, Vincent. You know, judging by what Vincent just said, that the high rate of insecurity in Nigeria is becoming so alarming, and yet the ruling party publicity secretary is busy boasting of that, and Nigeria has so much confidence and so much hope in the Tinubu's administration. How do these two tally? Judging by the high rate of insecurity challenges that so many Nigerians are facing? Children are in the bush suffering. Parents, mothers don't even know how their children are actually faring. You know, one of the women whose children were adopted, she said that majority of those children were hers. She doesn't even know how they are surviving. So how do you now, you know, explain this too? That Nigerians have so much confidence in the Tinubu's administration. Meanwhile, insecurity has become the order of the day.
I really don't know what gave him, I really don't know on what basis he made that statement. Because there is no Nigerian in this present day administration that haven't had a pinch or being pinched very badly by this administration. Now, how can someone come out and say, oh, that we're actually in the light? Just as my colleague said, talking about night and day and stuff like that. Okay, we were not enjoying in 2023. Now we're actually enjoying. That is absolute. I don't know what word. Yes, you don't come out to the public to make such a statement. For me, I stopped by the fuel station to get fuel today, and I saw the fuel price, and I asked myself, to what end is this? To what end? And someone with such insensitivity will come out to the public to say, oh, we're in the light. What kind of light?
It's the insecurity, that's the light.
Yes. What kind of light? Yes. You know, because this insecurity thing can happen to just anybody. Someone can wake up one morning and anytime. Yes. Nobody is safe anymore. Now we talk about we talk about Naira. In 2023, okay, the value of Naira was 460 per dollar, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Today is what? 1,400 or above per dollar. You know, this has made purchasing power very, very difficult, if not impossible. So where did he get that statement from? Because he's speaking for his pocket. Maybe he's speaking for his own benefit, but not to me as a Nigerian or not to the public listening to us right now. Thank you.
You know, judging by what she said that Naira has rose from 400 Naira to 5,000 to 1,500 Naira
per dollar. Yeah.
And then the publicity secretary is saying that the foreign reserve has surged from $3 billion to $50 billion. Is a rising foreign reserve a true metric of economic health if the citizens feeding this same economy are drowning in debt and poverty?
Okay, you know, a lot of nations actually pride itself in having high volume of foreign reserve. Especially, you know, Nigeria is used to borrowing. You have foreign reserve, then you go to World Bank, you go to IMF, you go to other, you go to China to start looking for loans. And then one of the measures in the international community in which they can actually look at you as a prosperous economy is foreign reserve. Now, ordinarily, I would say that the reason why we have our foreign reserve the way it is, if at all, actually, because this is what they are telling us. Yeah, the figure they are telling us is information they are feeding up. Now, you don't have the fact because you have not gone to wherever the foreign reserve is kept for to actually look at that. We have so many dollars here, and it's over 50 billion from 3 billion that it used to be. So that's what they are telling us. But let's assume that it is true, that is the case. Because tomorrow you will see IMF coming out to tell us that our foreign reserve is actually less than 1 billion. Then begin to ask yourself of what end is our government officials or those that are appointed to work with them lie to Nigerians. Now let's assume that it is true. Now you are talking about stocking our taxpayers' money away as foreign reserve, and at the same time a lot of economic indicators, a lot of social indicators, a lot of indicators that can actually use to measure welfare are plummeting. What is our human capital index level when we talk about the quality of education that Nigerians are receiving? Because the quality of education that Nigeria is receiving has a correlation with the budget for education in our yearly budget. What is our Gini coefficient that actually goes to measure the disparity between the rich and the poor in Nigeria? Because if you are telling us that our foreign reserve is increasing, it means that the economy is doing well. If the economy is doing well, then the income gap between the rich and the poor should be reducing. But what do we actually have?
Oh, the opposite.
Yes, the opposite. Then you are talking about our purchasing power. You are working, and then your minimum wage is 70,000. And then by the time you are to pay transport to your workplace, you come out in the morning, what used to be 100 naira is now 500.
And above.
You need to make a bar. Fill your stomach before coming to work so that you have the energy to stand and do your work in your workplace. Then you discover that a cup of garri that used to be 15 naira is now 300. And so on and so forth. Then you are priding yourself that Nigeria have a lot of foreign reserve out there. I'm trying to imagine the audacity with which those who are saddled with the responsibility to push this nation forward comes back to the citizens and more or less make a mockery of the reality before them.
All right, thank you so much, Vincent. Away from that particular development to Amnesty International condemning the Kogi State adoption, you know that around 2 a.m. on Monday, 1st of June 2026, there was a mass adoption in Kogi State where they made away with over 30 people in Kogi State. Now, this Amnesty International, they have come out to condemn this act. What does this specific mass adoption in Kogi State tell us about the changing tactics of this terrorist group, comparing to what the publicity secretary in APC is actually saying, that Nigerians are now in the day instead of in darkness, that comparing 2023 to 2026 is like comparing night and day?
It simply gives us the impression that the government cannot be trusted. It keeps moving from one scenario to the other. Now, one personality mentioned that if actually leaders want to capture this bandit, they can do so. But obviously, because this is not happening, no process is in place, no structure has been created. So they keep having the free flow of hand to keep changing. However, the result still lands us in the same, we still come back to the same thing. We still come back to adoption, picking up children here and there, picking up people here and there. Now, when we place this, it tells us that this present administration has completely failed in ways that cannot be explained. Now, when we also look at all of this in 2023, so going back to the night and day thing, I don't think, I mean, my colleague can also say something about that too. I don't think that we had this kind of massive kidnapping and adoption, and it moved from even on waters. I remember a few years ago, I had to travel using a boat, and suddenly we had this we had security operatives surround everywhere that people should go back, that there was something going on in front. So it shows that nothing and no system is safe at all. It shows that we have an administration who in no way can protect anybody, so you have to protect yourself. So showing these differences in Tinubu's administration gives us a very wide explanation as to what we are to expect if he wins the 2027 election. Otherwise, is someone going to tell me that there's going to be any change? I ask you, Cassie. Yeah,
well,
go ahead.
Well, if you ask me, Emirad, I will tend to think that you are being extreme.
Really?
As far your position on what the government is trying to do is concerned. Mm-hmm. Because, for example, we have a situation where you have a child, you have trained your child the way your child should go,
yes,
and then your child goes out there and they disappoint you. Where am I coming from? Every day we can admit that the government actually make budgets for security. Police are paid every month. The army is paid every month. And then we have even community policing that is being, being sponsored, if I may put it that way, by the government. Now, if we are saying that the government is not doing anything, then maybe it may be a source of discouragement. Now, what I'm looking at is how much the government is actually purposeful in what they are doing. That's where I'm looking at it from. Now, we are talking about mass adoption in Kogi State again. Mm-hmm. Now, just as you said, that is a pattern repeating from one state in Nigeria to another. It is Oyo today, Kogi tomorrow, Benue, Anambra, just mention it, which is actually unbecoming. But for us to say the government is not doing anything, of course, it's a disservice to them. But more importantly, if the government cannot stand to be counted, as far giving a marching order to all the security apparatus from Navy to the Air Force to the military, mm-hmm, then of course it's a negative. That's caused them low, especially just as I said, heading to 2027. So mm-hmm, it is important that, because I believe that the government is listening to us also, if the little that they are doing is not complemented, mm-hmm, I don't think that we are being too fair on them.
All right, then, Vincent, so ask you this question. The governments, they have devices where they usually use to track down every illegal operators, like if you're talking about legal operators, we're talking about the Yahoo boys. They have devices that they use in tracking them down. Why can't they use the same device to track down this bandit? Because this bandit seems to be so audacious that they make videos of children that they kidnap, make videos of their victim and post online. So why can't they do the same to them, track them down? I'm
trying to imagine if you are wanting me to make an excuse from the government.
Because you're already making the excuses.
That's exactly what you're doing.
No, I'm not actually making an excuse for the government here. I only said that, please, let us cut them a slack a little.
What kind of, hold on, Mr. Vincent. What kind of slack are we cutting here? Be very factual. What kind of slack are we cutting?
We have our brothers and sisters that are working in the police. Mm-hmm. We have our brothers and sisters that are working in the army. We have our brothers and sisters that are in the Air Force, in the Navy. We have our brothers and sisters that are working in the DSS, just mentioning.
Okay.
Now, if the government, they have not come out to say the government is not paying us. They have not come out to say we have welfare issues as far the job we are doing for the state is concerned. Now, if they are not meeting up, is it in order for us to put all the blame at the feet, or, for example, in this case, put all the blame
Mr. Vincent,
on the feet of Tinubu?
Security in Nigeria is a national issue.
It's a national issue.
Yes.
No.
Now, I remember a few months ago, I saw a video where a soldier was killed in one of these areas where they were trying to ground up the bandits. What does that say? These people are not telling you that they are not being paid. They are not telling you, they are not being taken care of. But the needed tools. Now, we know very well that if Nigerian government leadership want to clear out these people in one day, they will do it. It will happen. So I can't agree with
that
you.
Seems to be an exaggeration because I don't think, because remember that Nigeria is not fighting a conventional war.
This is a war. This is a war with citizens. It is.
It's a war.
If someone walks in there and walks in here and puts a gun on your head, what do you think it is?
It's a war. According to him.
Yes, it's a war.
Now, but the war is not conventional in the sense that we are not seeing one community against the other. These people that we are talking about, I don't know if any of you here know who they are. But if you ask me, I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yes, I don't
We're
know.
supposed
It's
to
not
know.
it's not a conventional war. Now, for example, you just said it here. We feel safe here, isn't it? Then at the end of the day, there's a burglary. That is not something that ordinarily you expect. It's a sudden occurrence. Now, just as you said, we observe rather. These people, today they are in Kogi, tomorrow they are in Benin. Now, you don't know if they are coming to the stage where you are right now. You don't know. So it's not a conventional war for you to say, once a government put this particular machinery in place, then the army, the police, the Navy will just get them down. It's not a conventional war. And more importantly, we are looking at, we have been saying that this war is being propelled by extremist groups. So simply means that it's an idea that they have in their head that possibly something is not being given to them, or they have an idea of how we should exist as far as the geographical space called Nigeria is concerned. So now looking at for the government, of course we cannot say they are not doing anything, because of course they have been doing something. But what I'm looking at is the fact that they are actually not doing enough, and that is my argument. All
right, then Vincent, what is your take on the growing call for localized forest guards and then state policing to secure these vulnerable victims? Because we already know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has already deployed over 1,000 forest guards into the vulnerable villages to help in combing out these bandits. So what's your take on this growing calls for localized forest guards?
We actually directly question to our viewers. When I say our viewers, I mean Nigerians. The reason is that if you ask a Nigerian today, whatever solution will work is okay for them. Like I had in some forum where some persons were like, there's no need for the government to be bringing up another security apparatus again, where we have a lot of them that have been funded already. Rather, use the money for the establishment of this particular security apparatus to increase the funding for the what we have already. Are there indicators that is going to, that what the government have in place already is going to work? So if what the government is trying to do right now, as far bringing forest guard, because the forest guard that we are talking about are made up of local persons that I believe knows all the forests, all the corners of the forest and the bushes around their communities. So if that is going to work, I believe that it is worth giving a trial by the government, and then indulge Nigerians, to give the government a chance.
All right, thank you so much, Vincent. We've come to the end of the show, Citizens Dialogue. Many thanks, Emerald, for joining us on the show.
Thank you, Percy, for having me.
And to you, Vincent, many thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me, and I hope that this continuous state of insecurity across the landscape of Nigeria will actually come to an end when, I don't know, and then more importantly, we are looking at Nigerians against Nigerians here, because those who are perpetrating this insecurity, we have not heard that they are from Kano. We have not heard that they are from Cameroon. We've not heard that they are from the Niger Republic. We've not heard that they are from the US. Nigerians against Nigeria. Such mindset need to change.
All right, thank you so much, and to you, our amazing viewers, for watching. Many thanks, and do have a beautiful day.